Alrighty, well, let's get into it. So I think this is either class 6 or class 7. I know it's been a little bit since I've done one of these, but we're going to get back into it. We're going to start giving you guys some new episodes here and some new lessons, right? All right, so let's talk about NASDAQ for Monday, and let's go over the setups for Monday, okay? And we'll work our way down this list. On Monday for NASDAQ, when I say Monday, I mean March 18th, 2024, okay? What we had on NASDAQ was this thing ended up ramping up. As you can see with my 4-hour chart right here, we recently ended up ramping up, and we took out, on this particular day, we were coming up and we were taking out a higher time frame buy side. All right, so look right here. What's the importance of noting this? And not only do we got that, we have a bearish imbalance right here too. They actually completely rebalanced too. So we have these because these are higher time frame points of interest. These are higher time frame levels of support. Okay, major liquidity. So basically, this thing was ripping up all throughout London session. It was in a very strong trend, no doubt about it. You can see this thing was just consistently pushing up. It was just going completely ballistic all throughout London session, all the way up into New York, and then we just come up, and then we're coming to 930 equity bell at this point. So this is where I'm really starting to focus. I'll look at London session as well for futures, but I mainly like New York hours, of course, and that's where it's going to be the most action, especially after 930. So after 930, what happens to NASDAQ? Well, this thing's pushing up. It's pushing up and it's immediately taken out. It's making a new high day. It's already cleaned out Asian session highs, all this stuff. It's in a very strong trend environment at the moment, but remember what I was just telling you on the higher time frame chart. I understand that we are coming up into and taking out higher time frame buy side. So I have that higher time frame perspective right off the bat. On this higher time frame chart, I can see that it's coming up at 9:30. And may I remind you, 9:30, what is that a key time for? That's a key time for turtle soups. That's a key time for fake runs. So look at this. I have this thing coming up at 9:30, a key time for manipulation, taking higher time frame buy side, coming up into a higher time frame imbalance. That is a lot of fucking resistance, a lot of resistance, guys. That is pressing up into right at a key time where we can anticipate turtle soups are going to occur, right? I have this happening. So that's what I see. I see it push up. And now with this, because I had my eyes on this for a short setup. That's on this particular day. That's what I had my focus on. Okay. And so it is technically, yes, you are counter trend trading if you are shorting this. So what I had to do whenever I saw this thing pushing up and I was hunting for that short setup, I have to be aware of, of course you got to be aware of the market structure, right? But you got to be aware of your key liquidity pools. You got to be aware of where that's at on the opposing end. We're aware of this higher time frame buy side right here. We're aware of this these are our higher time frame points of interest of resistance that we got our eyes focused on, and that's where I'm hunting for a reversal. I'm hunting for a reversal off of these levels because I understand it's really big resistance. But at the same time, you got to also understand that this thing is bullish right now, okay? And with that being said, we have to be aware of these key liquidity pools. Like I have this imbalance right here. You see that? I have internal. Now it is serving as a draw, but once it comes down to it, it could potentially serve as support. And here's the deal: 15-minute chart. Look at this 15-minute chart. We're coming up into this level right here, which is a premium, of course. It's been ripping up like right after midnight. No type of liquidity run lower. Notice that. Like right after midnight, this thing's pushing up. We have Asian session lows intact. We have that liquidity still there, so it's able to serve as a draw. And then I have this thing immediately pushing up, taking out. Yes, it's already taking out Asian session highs buy side, but it's taking out this right here as well, which is Friday's highs, which is that higher time frame buy side. And at the same time, it's approaching a higher time frame imbalance as well. So we're talking about stacked on stacked on stacked resistance in this area in a deep premium. But yes, it is bullish market structure. So we have to be aware of that. Okay. And we have to be aware of that. And we have to be aware of our key sell side liquidity pools are on this time frame if you are going to look for a short setup off that higher time frame point of interest. So we've already identified this higher time or this 1 hour imbalance right here, but we also, when you have something like this, you need to be aware of where your 15-minute sell side is as well, okay, on that push up. Because look right here, we have 15-minute sell side right here. And I'll tell you how this connects here in a moment and why this is important. and a little bit deeper. So we have this sell side down below marked. I have to be aware of this because, again, these are liquidity pools. Beneath old lows is sell side liquidity. So these are levels of support, okay? And it's in a very strong bullish trend at the moment. But remember, we're coming up into a higher time frame point of interest now, aka resistance, okay? And we're coming up into that resistance at a key time where we can anticipate turtle soups are going to occur. So I have this thing pushing up after 9:30, and you see this horizontal blue line right here where my cursor is moving. That is that higher time frame level that I was just talking about a moment ago, that higher time frame Friday's highs, right? We take that out, and at the same time, it's pushing up, and it comes up into that higher time frame imbalance. So not just one, but we got several higher time frame levels of resistance here. We are in a premium marketplace here. And then look what happens next. We end up having a rejection off that level. And this creates that fair value gap, but I still don't have that. I need that close as well. That's important. So I have the fair value gap right there, but I want to see that close beneath a short-term low as well. It came down to this short-term low right here, but look how it kind of wicked through it, and it respected that level and it closed above it. That doesn't qualify. I need to see a close. It actually gives me that close right there, as you can see. That's a confirmed short setup. Okay, that right there is a confirmed short setup because I got the fair value gap, I got the strong close, and it's doing this off of a higher time frame point of interest as well. It's coming off of that higher time frame imbalance, higher time frame buy side. So what do I want to target on this? Now there's a couple different ways that you can play this. Okay, when you get a close like this, where's the candle close? Right here. When you get a close like that, one option that you have is if you want to shoot for like the low hanging objective, like say you just wanted to shoot for the low hang, that's where my cursor's moving. The absolute low of that impulse move was right here. And let's say that came up into a premium. That's one option that you have. You could be patient and wait on a premium marketplace and then just target the low hanging objective. Or as I was saying in chat on this particular day, you could target the 15-minute sell side, and that was valid as well. So we zoom out here, you can see we mark these levels beforehand. This is my next 15-minute sell side liquidity pool. So I want you to put yourself inside the mind frame of a long who is in this, who is showing the precision, who's looking for higher prices. Where are they going to be keeping their stop at? They're going to be keeping their stops underneath a support. And remember, we understand 9:30 is a key time for manipulation. Like we see that push up right at 9:30 into major resistance. Okay, this is going to do two things. It's taking out that higher time frame buy side, but at the same time, it's also creating sell side beneath this low right here. Okay, so it is creating liquidity there. And I understand that this is an area where longs are going to be keeping their stops. So I have that liquidity right beneath this higher time frame resistance that we're pressing up into right here. So I'm not looking for this thing to go ballistic and just sell off, dwindle down to nothing. No, like you got to consider the trend here. Okay. And if you wanted to target bigger objectives, well, then you'd have to see a little bit of a higher time frame shift. You can't go off like a 1 minute shift. That's not going to do it. But we can target this 15-minute sell side down below off a 1 minute shift just because we are looking for a scalp scenario. Okay. But here's the deal. And this is another key point here. I've talked about this in several other lessons, right? Let's say price ended up, all right, let me get my drawing tool on here. Let's say it did this. All right, we got that shift. We want to confirm the shift was right here. And let's say it sold off all the way down in one go. And it took out this sell side right here. And then it came up into a premium. Would that be a valid short play? It wouldn't. And that's another key important detail as to why we mark these 15-minute liquidity pools, because think of it like it's going to be a 15-minute level versus a 1 minute level. And which is a higher time frame? The higher time frame is a 15-minute, of course, in that. So that's typically going to have more respect than say a 1 minute level. The higher time frame has more respect. The higher time frame has more of a saying what's going to happen. And you have a higher time frame liquidity pool versus a 1 minute liquidity pool. The higher time frame liquidity pool, while operating within that market structure, which is key as well, it's typically going to win. That's typically going to win the battle because it has enough liquidity to have that move up higher now. But being that this did not take out that liquidity pool right there, and we still have that able to serve as a draw, then it's valid until it takes that out. Now, in this case, it still ended up ramping up. And so I can just scratch that off as one that I got incorrect. And I did post this in chat. I did post it in the mentorship chat as well. And that's what I was ultimately looking for. And I'm not going to act like I wasn't looking for that. But then it begs the question, though, like, why did it push up? We've already stated that it's bullish market structure overall. The tide is bullish right now. I understand that. But it did pull back into a discount still. And let me get a 15-minute discount too. You got a 15-minute discount. And another thing here is this push lower, it did completely. Look right there. It completely rebalanced that 5-minute price action. And I was fully aware of that too, by the way. Like, it wasn't something that I was ignorant of. I completely understand that imbalance was right there. I completely understand that it pulled back into a discount within this range. I completely understand it's 5-minute bullish market structure, 15-minute bullish market structure. Again, like, my mind frame on this on Monday was I'm simply looking for it to run out this low right here, because I have this thing, which is, yeah, it's bullish market structure, but it's come up into higher time. It's taking out higher time frame buy side. It's got a higher time frame imbalance, and it's taking out these at a key time where I understand manipulation runs are going to occur. And I understand that longs are going to be keeping their stops somewhere, right? Or if they're not a degenerate, right, they're going to keep their stops where it's going to be beneath this low. So I understand right off the bat that there's sell side residing there, and that's all I'm looking to target. Okay. It couldn't do it. It pulled back into a discount, and it had one last move. But even once I saw this thing come up like this and to take out this high, as I was telling my mentees, don't sleep on it. It's going to give you a reversal here very likely very soon. It's just a matter of when, right? Because the thing is, guess what? It's still in a deep premium. Guess what? It still hasn't had that liquidity run. It's still it's got a higher time for imbalance, higher time for buy side. It's got so much resistance up here, and now it's just taking out further buy side. So I understand that this thing, it's going to want to sell off here soon. Okay. It didn't do it right there. Cool. But it's going to want to do it here soon. And it actually did give us confirmation a little bit later. So here were both. There was the first one I was talking about. NQ confirmed short setup. Look for it to draw down into that sell-side liquidity below. That's when I say sell-side liquidity, I'm referring to that, what I was just talking about. That didn't play out. But then we got another setup right here. New 1-minute shift right after rebalancing that 4-hour price action. So that was another setup, which is right here at 10:33 a.m. that you can see. See that? Same deal, like, you don't want to sleep on it because it's still in a deep premium. At this point, it's completely rebalanced that price action as well right there. It completely rebalanced that entirely. And now we see this thing come down right here, create that imbalance, have that strong close right there, confirmed. And let's mark it up. So you can see we got this right here as our imbalance. And it gave you either way you wanted to do it, right? Like, you could have shot for the low-hanging objective, which is what, nothing wrong with that at all. And when I say low-hanging objective, what I mean by that, when I say low-hanging objective, what I really mean is just targeting the low of the impulse move. So you can see we got this impulse move right here of where the shift originated. You take your Fibonacci from that high to that low. Well, guess what? You have an entry in a premium right there. You could get an entry at a premium, or you could wait on optimal trade entry, which is 62%. And you could get a short entry there and just simply target the low right here where my cursor is. That's what we call a single. That's what we call, there's nothing wrong with that. Take a little simple 1-to-1, or if you got OTE, a little bit over 1-to-1, and just lock it in there. That's what I call low hanging objective. And that, of course, you got what you wanted. Or if you wanted a bigger play, well, guess what? You got it. Because let's zoom back out here. Let's see. All right. So again, guys, like, that's that's your objective. Look, do you see any other liquidity pull here on the 15-minute? Like, where's your next 15-minute sell side at after that, before that shift? It's the same exact area. If there's a new level put in, then that's what you would want to target, being that's bullish market structure. But this is your next one. So guess what? You have the option to target that. So this is where you can get really good risk reward. Like, that literally made up for that previous loss plus many more. Okay. I'm not saying you got to do it like that. Again, like, you could just take the low hanging objective, be done with it. But in this case, like, look at this. Like, let's say you got in, because this is, that's what you would target. That's the next 15-minute liquidity pool. Where else is it going to get held up at, right? So we have this thing. Let's say you got in, right? Let's say you got in at a premium right there. And of course, you're going to be risking the high. And let's say you targeted that down there. Well, guess what? That's just shy of 6-to-1, and that's valid. That's not something that you're forcing. It's just there. It's just there because you have higher time frame resistance here. You have it rebalancing that price action, higher time frame buy side, and that's your next 15-minute liquidity pool. So we understand, again, that there's going to be longs that are trailing their positions, and that's your next major level of support. There's really no other support until that level right there. So you're able to target that. Okay. And in that, you can clearly see if you did have the cojones to hold for that, right? That's not, I like low hanging objectives, but some people, they like having these big winners, right? And that covers the previous L plus 4 more on top of it that it gave you right there off that one. So That's how you could have went about doing that on Monday. First one didn't really play out. Second one did. Had a really good fall through, drew all the way down. Because, of course, we have this sell side. We have this internal range liquidity that was created on this press up. Where else is it going to go? I mean, it's already rebalanced this price action. Okay, it's rebalanced it entirely. It's taking a higher time frame buy side. It's going to want to seek the internal range liquidity now. It's going to want to seek this liquidity down below. So that's exactly what it does. Alrighty, so now this one is from March 19th, 2024. So one thing I want you to notice about NASDAQ on this particular day, let's go to the daily chart first, okay? So look at what was formed on Monday. So right away I had this outlook, all right? I had this to go off of. You can see price came down here and okay, it took out daily sell side, being the swing low right here. And then what do we have form on the close on Monday? It has a swing low level put in. Right away, bullish signature, okay? Right away we have a bullish signature in play. Low, slow in the middle, higher low on the left, higher low on the right. And notice how we have this third candle high of that price swing untapped, as I've taught you. Very powerful draw, very powerful magnet when you have that fresh swing low right that previous day's highs is going to serve as a very, very powerful draw, okay? And what we saw happen here was, okay, we got that intact, and then we come into Tuesday. What happens here on Tuesday? Well, all right, we open up right here. We get a nice little spike up into London, and it comes up. It rebounces this 4-hour price action right here, and then it ultimately finds resistance, and it sells off, and it does what sells off, and it takes out higher time frame sell side. It didn't really have a lot of respect for that level, but it still took out higher time frame sell side. It's still in a deep discount. So when I say, look at my cursor right there, we took out a big level right there. But not only did we do that, we also came down and we rebalanced this 4-hour price action right here. See this? Look right there. 1, 2, 3. You have this 4-hour bullish fair value gap right here that it completely rebalanced. See that? Completely rebalanced that price action. So now it is efficiently delivered. Let's go down into a lower time frame here. So now while we are doing this, we can clearly see the 15-minute market structure is bearish. Okay. Again, there was that push up originally that we were talking about right there. If you recall, what we were talking about was, okay, that pushed up into that 4-hour imbalance, if you remember, right into a London session. And also what this did was, this push up that you see where my cursor is, like right into London session, into that 4-hour imbalance that we were just talking about in the higher time frame chart. What did it take out as well? It took out Asian session highs in this push up right here. And then what do we have down below? We have Asian session lows down below. See that? So look at this right here. We got this push up into London, taking out Asian session highs, significant buy side while having this liquidity down below, while having this imbalance down below. Now let me refresh my memory, see if we got a short set up in London session on this. I think we did. Yeah, we did right there. See that? So look, that's after we cracked out, after we took that liquidity. Look, we got this short-term low put in right here. You see that? We got the fair value gap, we got the close, firm short setup right there. So you got this taking that liquidity right there on that push up into London session. Again, the key liquidity pool it's taken out is Asian session highs, and it is bearish market structure as well. It's got a 4-hour imbalance, so this is actually aligned with the trend. And then you get a shift to the downside. That's like that nail in the coffin. Now you can look for this to seek this sell side down below. But Mike, I thought you just said that we have this third candle draw, so would you not trust that? You got to deal with what's in front of you. That's there, but it doesn't have to take that right here, right now. Okay, and you got to listen to price. So if I see something like this, right, that takes out a big liquidity pool like this, that isn't a small liquidity pool. That's Asian session highs. That's a very big liquidity pool. And not only do we got that, we got a higher time frame 4-hour imbalance. And then you have that confirmation that it actually wants to, that's big. It actually gives that confirmation, and it does. It gives a confirmation telling you that it does indeed want to respect that as a level of resistance with the fair value gap, the strong close, the whole deal. At that point, you look for lower prices. That's what it does. It seeks lower prices. So what happens here coming to New York, actually before New York, it already completely rebalanced that 4-hour price action. It took out that higher time frame sell side, which is, we have Asian session lows right here that it's taken out. Massive liquidity now. So now we're taking out this massive liquidity, and may I remind you that we still got that third candle draw up above on the daily chart right there. That didn't go nowhere. It's still there. It's still valid, and it's serving as a draw. But now at this point, think about the liquidity that you've taken out. We already talked about why it didn't have to do it on this first push up, because it's taken Asian session highs liquidity. It has a higher time frame imbalance, and now it has a shift. Okay, price is going to deal with what's in front of it right here, right now. It has that level, but it's going to need more liquidity before it can make the trip up into that level. It's going to need more liquidity. It's not going to do it in one push right here because it has sufficient buy side already. It has that higher time frame imbalance right here. It's like smacking into a brick wall on this push up. That's what we call a fake run, a manipulation run. Because yes, it's cleaning out buy side, but it's also creating sell side down below to take as well in the process. That's what it does. And then it sells off and it takes out Asian session lows. That's liquidity is done with. It rebalances that higher time frame price action. That liquidity is done with. So now guess what? At this point, we have sufficient liquidity, but not just yet. We have to implement one more thing into the equation as well. Well, yeah, we need the market structure shift, all that good stuff, but guess what? We also need to implement time. Like when I see this thing, right? When I see this thing pushing up right here, am I looking for a long setup in here on this? I'm not. I'm not, because I understand that 9:30 is a key time for turtle soups or fake runs. And I see it doing this, and I see this signature a lot. Like we have this creating sell side because it's pushing up, it's starting to put in some higher lows here, right? What's that going to do? It's going to create sell side beneath this low right as we're coming to equity bell. It rebalanced that price action. Sure, it did all this, but it's also creating sell side and wants more liquidity before it can make the trip up higher. So now this is my main point of interest coming into equity bell right here. This is where I already got my focus is on this low right here to be swept. And then I'm gonna look for a shift off that low right there. That is exactly what I am looking for. And just, to show that I'm, not just, picking hindsight right there. There it is. That was what I posted in chat. That was the game plan for it. That's what we established. Like that is like, cause we took out the sell side right there. Look, NASDAQ lower time frame 1 minute shift. Look for that push up to take those highs now. Okay. And then that's just indicating that, and this is, as I said right here, also have the option of shooting for that low hanging objective. When I say that, I mean the high impulse movement. We were just going over that in the previous play. And it's just like, that's what we call single. What we call single, like a low hanging objective. Like you could literally just get into a discount and target the high right there. Be done with it. Just get your money done. And I like those types of plays, right? And pulled back into a discount within this range, can shoot for the impulse move high, simple 1-to-1. All right, as I said, get your money and run. So yeah, we took that liquidity, and guess what? We're doing this after 9:30. We understand 9:30 is a key time for turtle soups. We already concluded that it created this sell side just so we could take it right here, so we could have more liquidity to make the trip up higher. And then we have this thing put in a short-term high right here. Look, see that? And it actually closes above it. We don't get the fair value gap yet. We get the fair value gap right here. Okay. See that? There you go. It pulls back into a discount. It gives you the low-hanging objective. You could literally target that, just get your money and be done. Or you could shoot for this high up here, which is what I said. You could, and then it took that a little bit later as well, as you can see. Why could you target that? Why could you target that high right there? And somebody may be thinking, right, okay, why not? So, but what about targeting this high up here? Wouldn't you target that high up there? Personally, no, wouldn't. All right, because you got to play the market structure that's in front of you. It's going to want to take that. I understand. It's going to want to take that. But myself personally, right, I need to see more confirmation reflected in the market structure. So if I'm targeting this level up here, I want to see like a 15-minute bullish market structure, for example, which it did a little bit later on, as you can see. But I'm not trying to target that based on a 1-minute shift, because then you're fighting the 15-minute trend. And typically when you have something like that, you're going to get tapped out a lot. If you can't like target these huge levels like this, you don't want to, at least based on like a 1-minute shift. But that 1-minute shift was for a scalp scenario. And this is why I said that this was a valid profit target as well. Look right here where my cursor is. That's your, it goes back to what I was saying with that previous play. That's your next level of, well, in this case, your next level of resistance. That was the most recent high in the 15-minute chart. So guess what? We understand that there's going to be buy side residing above that high right there. That gives you something to target. Okay. And that is, oh, and also right here, I think I just barely missed it. Yep, right there, we actually got the 15-minute shift. That's where we actually got that 15-minute shift. And at that point, you could target these highs up here, actually, if you wanted to. You could actually go for that. So look, we got that strong close, you got that fair value gap, came down, boom. And you could look for bigger objectives. You could literally just target high day if you want to, or maybe partial out all the way up to this level up here. That's valid. You could look for that. But this is what I was talking about in chat. I was basically saying, okay, we could target this high right here. Okay, because that's the next high. We understand shorts should be trailing their positions where above these highs. We've already rebalanced higher time frame price action. We're in a higher time frame discount. Where else is it going to go? It's going to want to target this opposing buy side, guys. That's what it's going to want to do. Okay, that's a level of resistance. Above resistance is buy side liquidity. Okay. And yep, so we want to target that. And that's what you can see ends up happening here. It ends up pushing up real nicely and just taking that level, doing its thing. Now, again, like say this thing ended up pushing up, right? And let's say it didn't give you your discount that you wanted. And let's say it just came up and it took out this high right here. And let's say the 15-minute market structure wasn't confirmed yet. Like, let's say the 15-minute market structure never had a bull shift. It had a stopper and signature, took out this high, and then it came down to a discount. Would I personally trust that for a long play? No, because you got to listen to the market structure, and it only has 15-minute liquidity versus like a 1 minute, imbalance. That the higher time frame typically is going to win that battle. That took a war battle between the two. But if you have a shift and it's a different storyline, like I just said, this thing ended up having that shift a little bit later right here. Let me actually just remove this real quick. So you can see right here, we get this fair value gap right here. Okay. That's after it took liquidity, may I remind you. That's after it took out 4-hour sell side. And then right here, we have the short-term high that it closed above. Comes down, rebounces it, seeks opposing buy side just like that. That's what we had to. All right, so to the next day. On NASDAQ, we had this thing coming up. This was on Wednesday, on March the 20th. This came up and it took out higher time frame buy side right here. You see this? So we have a higher time frame buy side right here. We got this higher time frame imbalance down below, which is serving as a draw, of course, because this area was not officially delivered. So again, as always, I do the higher time frame, like I do my top-down analysis. I gotta have that higher time frame storyline, and I see this thing. Okay, I have it taking out significant buy side right here. Now, same deal. You got to consider like it is bullish market structure. Okay, it's consistently putting in higher lows. It's bullish market structure. Now, agent session lows is intact. That's a bullish signature. The fact that that liquidity is still there, that is a bullish signature. Even with it being, overall very bullish trend right now at that moment, it's still like I have that liquidity right there intact. So that's able to serve as a draw. Okay. And then what happens after midnight into London? This thing pushes up and it continuously pushes up all the way up into New York session. This pushes up right here. Look at my cursor. This pushes up and takes out higher time frame buy side, which is also previous day's highs. That's not some small liquidity pool. That's a very big liquidity pool right there. Now, we are in that upswing at the moment, which is, of course, a bullish signature, and it's bullish market structure. So you are technically fighting the trend, but it's in a premium. It's in a premium when prices is going to want to gyrate from that liquidity. So, but as always, we need to be aware of our key liquidity pools. We need to note these 15-minute sell side levels because these are levels of support. And we have a 15-minute sell side right here as well. See this? Right there. That's liquidity. That's liquidity right there. So, but what happens here is look right at 930, what this thing did. We had this pullback right before 930. What this essentially did, like it came down into this imbalance. It rebalanced that price action, found some support, and then it pushed it up. It gave it enough fuel to make the trip up into this high right into 930 equity bell. Again, what is 930 equity bell a key time for? And I'm just going to remove this higher time frame level. We know it took that out, but just to kind of unclutter it, we know that this or 930 is a key time for turtle soups or fake runs. And what is it doing? It's already in a premium. Like we've already established this thing's in a premium, taking a higher time from buy side. And now we have this thing coming up here. Oh, and right here. We had to note this too. I noted this level too, because this is actually our next 15-minute sell side liquidity pool coming into that spike at the bell. So I had this right here as well that I was keeping an eye on. Okay. So, but here's the deal, guys. We're coming up and we're taking out this buy side. It's already in a deep premium. We have this push happening right at 930. So I understand that that's a key time where fake runs happen, and it's taken out. It's already taken out agent session highs, previous day's highs, and now it's making a new high of day right at the bell. So I'll put myself inside the mind frame again of a long who's trying their position on this thing. And now we're coming to 930, which is the most volatile time of the day, right? We have this thing pushing up, making new highs here. It's taking out buy side, sure, but it's also doing something else. Now that the market's open, it's super strong. You got a lot of momentum towards it. What do you think that's going to do that it's making new highs like this? It's going to create sell side. It's going to create sell side where beneath your next level of support right there. Right away, I target that level. Right away, I understand, okay, I want to target that. I see the thing pushing up right at equity bell, right up into high of day buy side, right up into a major level of resistance right here. And then I understand, okay, my next major sell side liquidity pool is right here on the 15-minute, which is also the current New York lows, okay? That's the current New York lows. No, I didn't say equity bell lows. I said the current New York. New York begins at 8 o'clock. We have New York lows right here, that 15-minute sell side right there. That is the liquidity that I want to target, okay? It's already taken out this, and then now I just need to look for a lower time frame bullish shift. If I can get that, then I can target this down here. So it comes up, it takes that. Again, we put in a short-term low, or actually our next swing low. I think that might be equal lows. I can't tell. Let me see. 1.32. Nope, it's a swing low. So we have a swing low right here. Look how it closes beneath that. And then look how it creates that fair value gap confirmation. There you go. That is a confirmed shift right there on the 1 minute chart, just like that. As soon as I get that confirmation, I'm looking for lower prices. I'm looking for this thing to come down, to take out that 15-minute sell side now, right there. That's what I want to see. So I did really want to, because the risk reward isn't quite there on that, on the close that is. So I was willing to see a little bit of a pullback on it, and it just came down and took out this low. Now this is a good example again. I made very clear after it did that. Look, this is where I posted it. You know, full transparency, timestamped, you can see it. I said NQ, nice short setup. Look for this to run the lows. It took 15-minute sell side, as we were just talking about. Oh, wait a second. That's a little bit later. I mean, of course, this is 15-minute sell side as well. That's kind of where my head was at. This is 15-minute buy side, my mistake. 15-minute buy side is the high day, of course. There's your liquidity run. There's your shift. But this was a little bit later. You can see that I posted this. Look for this to run the lows at 9:36 and then 9:38. It took 15-minute sell side a couple minutes later. Would not trust a retracement into a premium now. What do I mean by that? When I said it would not trust a retracement into a premium now. That's what I originally said right there. Because at the time when I posted at 9:38, look, that's when it was taking it out. So I said, I don't trust that into that. This goes back to what I was saying just a second ago. Literally on those other examples, I was just talking about this, guys. At the time that it's doing this, the 15-minute market structure is bullish. That's the thing. The 15-minute market structures are bullish, and now we're taking out 15-minute sell side. So think of it like you have a 15-minute sell side liquidity pool versus a 1-minute imbalance. Where's your higher time frame? The 15 minutes is a higher time frame than the 1 minute, and typically your higher time frame liquidity pools are going to have more significance than the lower time frame. They have more of a saying what price is going to do, right? So you have to keep in mind that if you're shorting that, then you are, even with it having all this overwhelming amount of resistance up above, you are still counter trend trading that trend. So you need to be aware of where that sell side is residing. We have 15-minute sell side right there. Takes it. It takes it without giving a pullback. And that's why I said no longer interested. Okay. No longer interested until it gives our time frame shift, that is, which look right here. So now I did get a little bit late to posting this one, but this, I talked about it on mic on this particular day. I said, just got back. We got that pullback into a premium because we were talking about it in the 1% voice channel. 15-minute shift, as I was saying on mic, look for it to take the lows. So basically what I was saying on mic on this particular day was it took out that sell side right there, and it was still bullish when it was first taking it out, of course. But what unfolded a little bit later here was what I was saying to look out for was a shift. Because if it can give the shift, if it can give that strong closes, if it can give that fair value gap, then I like it for a short setup if it can retrace into a premium. That was the conversation that we were having. If it can have that signature, that exact signature that you see right there, well, then at that point, you're in the clear and you could play that 15-minute structure, okay? And then, so it actually had that push lower, and it did take out this sell side as well, and it kind of respected that. But what we had right here, we got a strong close beneath it. We got that fair value gap. Look, and it came up into a premium and gave you an opportunity. If you were shooting for the low-hanging objective, boom, you got paid. And that would actually be your best bet considering how much it respected that level right beneath that. So look right here, you take your Fibonacci from that high to that low. Look, you trade up above 50% equilibrium of that price range, which means you trade up into a expensive marketplace. You rebalance that price action. And then what would you shoot for? Low-hanging objective right there. Takes it, it's done with. And so we did get that nice 15-minute set up a little bit later, but the first one I wasn't interested again because at the time that it was doing that, that wasn't confirmed yet. Like that 15-minute confirmed a little bit later, but originally it was just a stop run signature. That's all it was. All right. And you got to consider that. So that's why I took that back like right after I posted it. And then that was the second setup that we were talking about on that thing. All right. So NASDAQ on Thursday gave a couple different setups actually. Look right here. We have higher time frame buy side right there. See that? Massive level. We're talking about, we ain't talking about some small level here. We're talking about a massive level. of resistance. And look how overextended this thing is. Look at how deep in a premium this thing is on Thursday. Look, it just ramped up on Wednesday, right? And then just pushed up because it had news to assist it. We had FOMC on that particular day at 2 o'clock that accelerated this thing higher up into this buy side right here. And we understand from news, a lot of times the first run from news, because that thing didn't have any type of liquidity run lower. It was just an immediate push up. What we understand is a lot of times that first run from news as well, even if it's one of those cases where we have the cases where it's like a quick spike and then it's just an immediate move, but sometimes it's a little bit drawn out like this, and you'll just kind of see it'll have that spike, and what you'll see sometimes is that spike will actually hold and then just continue to push up in like a slow and gradual uptrend after it has that original spike. Like it had the spike and then a gradual uptrend, and what it'll do is, because it wants to seek some type of liquidity pool, it wanted to seek this buy side, is why it did that. But the thing is, it's still the same rules apply. A lot of times the first run, that is considered the first run. It didn't have any type of liquidity run lower. That first run a lot of times is a fake run, okay? Because all it wants to do is to take that liquidity, then that makes for a very good reversal point once it takes that liquidity. So we see this thing coming up right here, and it takes out that higher time frame buy side right there, okay? Same deal. You got to be aware of the market structure still, because it's a bullish market structure. It's pushing up real nicely. And then what I did is I marked this 15-minute sell side right here. See that? Because we come into, basically what happens here is, look, here's 930. Here's like, look at this 15-minute 930 candle. What do I always say? You know, the wicks do the damage, the bodies tell the true story. Remember, this is where it opens up. This is where this candle opens, where my cursor's moving. So think about this. It opens up right here. What does it do first things first? Like you got to understand, like power of three, this manipulation, all this stuff. It happens on like all these candles you see happening. Look, we open up right here and it's coming to 930 here. 930 we understand is a key time for manipulation. It opens up right here. What does it do immediately after 930? It pushes up. But keep in mind, guys, that this thing is taking out higher time frame buy side. This horizontal blue line that you see right here on this chart is that higher time frame 4 hour, I believe it's a daily level too, that we're coming up and we're taking right now. That is not a small level. That's a huge level that you're taking out at a key time being 930. And we have this push up right at 930, which is the most volatile time. What's it going to do? It's taking out buy side, but it's also going to create sell side because it has this momentum to it. It's breaking out. It's going to create sell side. Longs are going to pile in this thing. It's going to create sell side. Where's your next major level of support? Look below right there. Look how clean it is too. Look at those clean lows right there. I identified that level right away. Right away, I identified that. And I understand I want to target that. Okay? I understand right away that's what I want to target. That's the next key level of support. Okay, cool. I understand there's going to be sell side residing there. I understand that this is pressing up into higher time frame resistance at a key time where I can anticipate turtle soups, aka fake runs, to occur. And look at this, guys. Look right here. It has that push up. We end up taking out this buy side, and then again, full transparency right here. Look, 9:46 a.m. on Thursday, March 21st. NASDAQ lower time frame shift off that higher time frame buy side liquidity. Looking to target those equal lows, which is what we were just talking about a second ago, if you recall, and it got a premium right there. Right there. You see that? There's your imbalance. There's your premium. You can shoot for the low-hanging objective. That's what you could literally shoot for this too, where my cursor's at. Just take your low-hanging objective. And then, or you could target this as well and get better. And it took out both. Valid. Valid. Now, we got another setup immediately after this. Immediately after this, we get another setup. But this one was a long setup. Okay? This one was actually a long setup. Because now this one, this is my favorite, no, because it basically took out a giant level. But if we're just looking at the market structure here, the thing is, when it does this, when it runs these stops, first things first here, it's still bullish market structure when it's doing that. That's the thing. Like, it's running out these lows. It's running out equity lows. It's running out New York lows, okay? Because that's right here's New York lows. That's a key liquidity pool. It's taking out this 15-minute sell side. It's taking out New York lows, operating within a bullish market structure. It was a big flush. So now that it takes out this low right here, I'm not, in regards to a scalp scenario, no longer interested for shorts. That play's done with. All right, it had the fall through, good fall through at that, but it's done with now. And now at this point, what I'm looking for is a long, or if it can respect it. If it can respect this, then I'm gonna look for a long setup, because then I need to see those stopper and signatures, which it does display. It's displaying classic stopper and signatures, which is that wiki price action that we always talk about, is respecting it. It kind of goes into consolidation for a bit after taking this sell side, consolidation, and then boom, right here. Nice big push up, nice big fair value gap, nice big strong close right here. That's where our setup was at. And you can see right here, NQ confirmed buy setup right there. Took 15 minutes sell to liquidity, lower time frame, 1 minute shift. Look for that push up now. Okay. Now it didn't quite give the push up into this, but it did give the low hanging objective, which was right here. All right. So like, for example, when I say low hanging objective, this is our last imbalance. So that means you could risk the low of the imbalance. So, I mean, if you risk that, then you probably got tagged. But if you wanted to risk the swing point, which is always your best bet, let's say you did that and discount, then that's what I mean by a low hanging objective, is to have the impulse move right there, right? And that's how you could have approached it. But again, that one, it wasn't my favorite, because I mean, look at the huge level that you're taking out right here. And in a case like that, of course, it's like, even with the bullish market structure in this case, like there was really no explosive shift or anything. In a case like that, you definitely your best bet is to take the low hanging objective, because it already has a bunch of liquidity up above. Like it's already taken a bunch of liquidity, so it doesn't really need to return. I mean, yeah, it could. Again, the market structure, if it's bullish, it shows these signatures, it could, but I'm saying your best bet, just to play it safe, even with the market structure being overall bullish still on that 15-minute chart, take a low hanging objective, because you can see it did end up, I mean, it almost got it to you. You almost gave it to you right there, but then it just fell short and boom, sold off. Why did it sell off? Because it already took out that huge level that we were just talking about. It's a massive, massive, massive level. So it didn't need to return to those highs again. It had sufficient liquidity. All right, now on Friday for NASDAQ, this came down and it took out this higher time frame sell side right here. And it came down to that higher time frame imbalance. Let's go to the lower time frame now. So of course it took out higher time frame. Like that's the higher time frame sell side liquidity pull right here. And it didn't really look back after doing that. That's essentially where it found its low. So I can't say I'm surprised by that, but I was actually looking for another move lower, and I'll tell you why. But again, it wasn't the best. So like, first things first, we actually had a nice short setup on this in London. You see this right here? So I posted this at 5:43 a.m. on the 22nd, so which is Friday. That's a confirmed bearish shift. That's from London session. That had really good fall through. That was a really nice setup in London on this particular day. Again, you'll get setups in London too, but I do prefer New York just because it's better price act. It's better. It's just more volume. It's a lot more volume, so cleaner moves typically. But the reason behind this on this real quickly, I had this higher time frame sell side down below, which was serving as a draw, of course. But what this ended up doing was we got this push up into London, and what did it take out? It took, well, yes, making a new high day, of course, but it also took out Asian session highs. Asian session, it begins right here, and then this is going to be the high of Asian session. So we took out a major liquidity pull right off the bat here, and I believe, let me zoom back out here, I think we were tapping up into a higher time frame imbalance, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So yeah, look right here. So not only are we taking out, well, yeah, we're in a premium too. That's another thing. We're in a deep premium still at this time, but we're coming up here into London. We're taking out Asian session highs, but at the same time that we're taking out Asian session highs here in London, we're coming up into this higher time frame bearish imbalance right here. You see that? That's resistance. That's a lot of resistance right there that you're pressing up at in that particular area. And it created the sell side down below right here. So it created further sell side. Okay. So what happens here is we come up, we do that, and then it gives a reaction. It didn't just take the liquidity, but it actually confirmed that it wanted to respect it. And it confirms by having this strong close right here beneath these lows, that fair value gap confirmation. Look, you got everything. You got the whole deal in here, guys. You got several fair value gaps in there. Look right there. Boom. It comes up to a premium, respects it, and then it seeks the opposing sell side, which is what we were anticipating that it would. So really clean fall through on that. Now coming into New York, this one didn't quite play out. ES did actually. On this particular day, ES did give this setup that I'm about to talk about, and it actually followed through real nicely, but NASDAQ didn't. And I wasn't a big fan of it. And I'm not just saying this because it ramped up here. I just wasn't, because it took out the higher time frame sell side, and so here was the deal, guys. We were coming to 930, and my game plan for this in the 930, as always, is I wanted to see this thing sweep this low right here. I saw it. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about how creating sell side right before 930. A lot of times we'll see those 930 sweeps. I see this, like I saw this, it created that sell side off that higher time frame level right here. And what I was essentially looking for was I wanted to see it come down, take this, and then have that shift, and then have that reversal. So I was really fixated on that low getting taken out right here. And the setup that I was kind of incorrect on, or not kind of, I was incorrect on here was this right here. If we go to the 1 hour chart, it took out the higher time frame level, it took out Asian session lows. So it had a lot of liquidity, but again, I wanted to see this low right here taken for that sweep. And then I also saw in this 1 hour right here, it came up into a premium right here within this range. So this 1 hour is like, that's a premium marketplace bearish imbalance. And then after coming up into a premium within this range, I saw a lower time frame shift, okay? After doing that, look, we got the fair value gap in here, and then we actually got to close a little bit later in here. At that point, as I said on mic, it talked about in chat, I wanted to see it seek these lows down here, and then I'd look for that reversal to the upside. That never did play out. It didn't end up just pushing up. And again, the reason it did that is like it's no mystery why it did. It just had sufficient sell side. It had the higher time frame imbalance as well. That's another thing. Like it had the higher time frame imbalance. It had a higher time frame 4 hour sell side right here. And so, yeah, that's why I pushed up. So it's really no mystery as to why it did that. And I was fully aware that that was there too. It's just I really wanted to see one last sweep, take out this low, and have that reaction. But on this particular day, it just could not give the setup that I really wanted. But for the most part, pretty damn good follow through throughout the entire week. A lot of really nice setups out there. And yep, so I'll try to, remember to keep giving y'all these videos. I know it's been about a month since I released the last one, but I got some pretty good feedback from you guys on it. You guys seem to really enjoy them, so I'll keep pushing them out. All right, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you later.